Alright, everybody, I am back. This is part 3 of the 2025 DVD and Blu-ray. Well, we're still working on Blu-rays, but DVD came out first. That's how I've always done it. Anyway, the 2025 DVD and Blu-ray collection overview. And today, we're going to be taking a look at... We'll start with this shelf here, which is only the second shelf because we did the first two parts. We only got the top of the shelf and then the first shelf, which you see right there. So today we're going to start in here, which is the second shelf. But before I do that, I keep forgetting. First of all, I forgot to show the door here. A little closer look. Green Hornet and come on. Oh shit. There we go. Fix it. Green Hornet, we got Renegade, we got Time Cop, and then at the bottom we got Demolition Man and Dragon, the Bruce Lee story. We did that. Let's get a little bit. There we go. And then I'll show that stuff off in the corner quick, and then we'll get to the movies. So let me flip that around so I can actually see what the hell I'm doing. It'll be easier to sit. I know you can't see me because I'm John Cena, but oh well. But we have the Shadow carrying case for the action figure line when the movie came out. I love that shot there. That's awesome. There's one spine. There's the other spine. I do have, I think, only one of the toys. I have the Invisible Shadow. I had a lot more when I was a kid because I guess the toy line did not do that well. So they were giving them away for cheap because I remember my mom getting a bunch of them for me. And then these are really cool. I remember seeing these at KB Toys back in the day because they were exclusives, as you could see by the sticker here. But they did Captain Action. So we have Kato, and you can see some of the other ones on the back there. I don't have Captain Action and Dr. Evil, but and then they also did the Lone Ranger and Tonto. I don't have those, but I do have Kato and the Green Hornet. I'm not sure. I did not get these at KB Toys. I'm not sure where I got this one. Maybe a comic book store, if I remember correctly. And then we have the Green Hornet himself. And then the back is the same on this one because I assume it was a part of the same series. And then there you go. And it does, I mean, they tried to make it look like Van Williams and the TV series. So there's that. I mean, they tried to make him look like Bruce Lee. So there's that. But I wanted to show those off. And actually, yeah, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to get into this here. So we will start with the front row, which is all Charles Bronson Blu-rays. And then we'll work our way through. There we go. There we go. Alright, Charles Bronson. One of my all-time favorites. So first up we have Farewell Friend. Work with Alan Delon, and this was before Bronson. It's really interesting because he didn't hit it big here in America until Death Wish came out, and he was already, I think, 51, 52 when because he was born in 21. Death Wish was 74, so he was 53. So imagine that. He was a huge star throughout the rest of the world. Europe in particular, which is where he made a lot of these movies, which we're going to see. And Japan. He was really big in Japan for some reason. I know my hair was messed up, but oh well. But he didn't make it in America until Death Wish. And he was already well into his career at that point. And he was also 54 years old. Like, imagine that. It's crazy. Yeah, 53, 54 years old. And then we have Once Upon a Time in the West, which I know there's a 4K, but I heard the 4K was terrible. The home video history of this movie has been pretty bad, to be honest. But this Blu-ray doesn't look bad, and this is the one that has all the extra features. So there's actually a commentary with John Carpenter and John Milius on this, which is pretty badass. But classic movie. Then we have Rider on the Rain. A lot of these, like, European movies, I don't remember much of them. I've watched them once. I can't remember. No, Someone Behind the Door is the one he did with Anthony Perkins, yeah. But a lot of these I've only seen one time. Then we have Cold Sweat, and also, for the longest time, a lot of these were available very cheaply here on DVD. Like, remember at Walmart back in the day, you used to get those, like, the thin cardboard sleeves. They were like $1 at the register, or you'd find them at the dollar stores and stuff. A lot of those movies were only available as public domain prints here in America for the longest time, which is crazy. And then we have, Someone Behind the Door with Anthony Perkins. And then you got Jill Ireland in the bathtub looking like a snack. So there you go. Jill Ireland was fucking beautiful. I don't care what anyone says. And everybody said the same thing. After Jill Ireland died, Charles Bronson was never the same. I do believe that. So there you go. Then we have the original Mechanic. I love that poster. I've always really liked that poster. And I've always enjoyed this movie. I know a lot of people don't like it. I do. I do like the remake as well. The sequel was better, though. Mechanic Resurrection. But this is the Scorpion Blu-ray, which they're not around anymore. Kino is getting ready to put this back out on 4K. I think it's going to have some new extras, so I might get that. But I do really like the artwork on here. I love that poster. Would definitely like to get a poster of that. And I like the back on there. But always enjoyed this one. Then we have... I'm surprised that this one has never gotten a re-release. I think Sony owns it. I guess they don't give that much of a shit about it. But we do have The Stone Killer, which this one's okay. But I always like the poster. This is a version of the poster. And there you go. And then we have, which came out, I think this came out like a week or two before Death Wish. That's crazy how that works. But we have Mr. Majestic, which I love Mr. Majestic. I just watched it earlier this month. So there you go. And this is the Kino. This is the re-release, which has new extra features. Or no, I think the master was different. I don't think I had the old one. I think I only ever had this one. But always really enjoyed Mr. Majestic, so can't complain. And then of course we have the one that started it all, Death Wish. This is the 4K Blu-ray combo from Kino. A little light on the extras, unfortunately. I do wish that it had more, but that's just me. And I like all 5 of the Death Wish movies. Honestly, though, the first one might be my least favorite. I know people get mad when I say that. I just like the sequels more. Because the first Death Wish movie, it's not an action movie, it's a drama, it's a revenge film. The sequels went into the action category almost immediately, but I like all the Death Wish movies, and I just watched all those again earlier this month because I hadn't seen... I mean, I've watched them a million times because, number one, Death Wish 3 was always on TV when I was a kid. Like, I remember AMC used to do those Death Wish marathons, and it was always on HBO and stuff like that. So I used to watch Death Wish 3 all the time. And then I had 2, 3, and 4 on DVD. Like, really when I first started getting heavy into this as a teenager and stuff. So I used to watch Death Wish 2, 3, and 4 all the time. One and 5 I didn't get till later on, but I love all of them, as you know. Then we have Breakout, which I do like this movie. This was the follow-up. This, I think, was the first one he did after Death Wish. This is the Indicator release from overseas. But a decent amount of extras on here, which is pretty cool. But I like this movie. And then we have Hard Times. I think this was Walter Hill's directorial debut, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is. Again, a little light on the extras. There is an interview with Walter Hill on here. This, again, is the... actually, this is Eureka. I'm sorry, I was going to say Indicator. It's not Indicator. This is Eureka. But I always really enjoyed this, too. It's basically Lionheart with Van Damme set in the Great Depression. And as you saw on the cover, James Coburn's in it, Jill Ireland's in it. You can't go wrong. And this is another one that I'm surprised has not gotten a re-release, but again, it's Sony, so they probably don't give a shit. But From Noon Till 3, which is a kind of an offbeat, wacky comedy that he did. I don't think it really resonated with people, but it's an interesting little movie. So there you go. Then we have Cabo Blanco, which I remember this being okay. Like I said, a lot of these I haven't seen in a long time, or I've seen once, but there is, a lot of them have commentaries with Paul Talbot. Paul Talbot wrote the Bronson's Loose books, which I love. I bought the first book when it first came out because I was actually doing a research project in school on Charles Bronson, and you needed a book source, and that book had just come out, so it was pure blind luck, I suppose, or fate, or whatever you want to call it. But that book was really good, and then the second book was great as well, so there you go. And then we have, who put this out? I think Shout Factory? Yeah, Shout Factory put this out. But we have Death Hunt. This is out of print now. I don't know what it goes for, because again, typically if I buy something, DVD, Blu-ray, whatever, and it's out of print, I typically won't look at what the prices look like because I already have the movie and I'm probably not going to I don't resell it, so there you go. But I always really like this one. Really good cast in here. Lee Marvin, Angie Dickinson, Carl Weathers is in here. It's kind of like First Blood in a way, and it came out the year before First Blood, so there you go. Then we have Death Wish 2. This is the Vinegar Syndrome release when they actually put out movies that were worth a shit, unlike their Black Friday sale this year. Happy Thanksgiving, by the way. But really nice presentation. And I love that classic. I'd like to get that poster as well. But this has all the extra features from the Shout Factory release, and then it's got more on here, so there you go. And it actually looks quite good, so I can't complain. And then I also have the Australian release of Death Wish 2 and 3 from Umbrella, which these are out of print now. I remember, I think these were pretty hard to come by for a little bit. I don't know where they're at now, but when I got them, they were hard to come by. But this has different extra features than the American release. And also, it has 4 versions of Death Wish 2, but the shitty thing is all the bonus versions are on a DVD. I don't know why they couldn't just put them on a Blu-ray. But you have the international version of Death Wish 2, which unfortunately does have the longer rape scenes. The American version, the TV cut, and the Greek VHS cut, because they all have different footage and stuff in there. And then it has a making of back in the day about Death Wish 3, and then it's got interviews, because, again, Umbrella did the Electric Boogaloo documentary, so they included interviews about these movies in there as extras. But again, I don't know what these go for now. But when I got them, they were a little hard to come by and they were a little pricey. So there's that. And then we have 10 to Midnight. I have two versions of it because, again, the extra features are different. So first up, we have the Scream Factory release. I remember when this was announced, it was a San Diego Comic-Con announcement. I was really, really excited about it because this movie is the closest thing that Charles Bronson did to a slasher movie. It's basically... it's basically a Charles Bronson slasher film. For those of you that have never seen it, you got this guy running around naked, killing women with a knife, and Charles Bronson is a cop, and he has to go stop him. Yeah, that's it. So there you go. And I'll look at that in a second. And then I also have the 88 Films release, which that was the original poster. I love the original poster, and there's nothing in the movie about 10 to Midnight, like the clock and everything. They came up with the title because that's what Canon Films would do. They would have a title or an idea, and then they would sell the movie, and there wasn't even a script or anything. But they had the title 10 to Midnight, and there's nothing that connects that to the movie, or the title is not connected in any way to the movie, but who gives a shit? So there you go. And I'm just looking on the back here. So... the interviews are the same. The commentary, okay, the commentaries are different because I'm looking at it now. Yeah, there is a additional commentary on this release. So this one has 2 commentary tracks. This one only has one of the commentary tracks, so that's why I can't. And then this one has a featurette about the cop sleaze movement of the early 80s, which is only on this release. So you got to have both of these if you want all the extras, because yeah, the 88 Films release does not have the commentary with the producers, which I think was on the Twilight Time release, because I think I might have had that. Yeah, I did have the Twilight Time release for a little bit. Fuck Twilight Time. They suck. And then again, I know I said it in one of the previous parts, they were supposed to make this big comeback. I think they only ever put out one movie, and then that was it. So there you go. And then we have The Evil That Men Do, which this is the Shout Factor release. Look, this is how, when I got it, it was broken. So there you go. Now, again, it could have happened during shipping. I don't know, but there's that. But love this movie. This is one of the few that Charles Bronson did that was not Canon Films in the 80s, because Bronson actually owned the option for the story, because this is based on a book, and he really wanted to make this movie with Canon, but they didn't want to do it for budget and this and that, so they actually allowed Charles Bronson to make this with a different studio. So there you go. And it does have 3 versions of the movie. You do get the theatrical cut, the unrated cut, and the television version. But that's it. No commentaries, nothing of the sort. But I've always really enjoyed this. And he goes after this guy. He's like a torturer and everything. And it's pretty brutal. It's pretty satisfying because Bronson gets to shoot people and kill bad guys and blow shit up. So if you haven't seen that one, that is one of the better Bronson movies, at least in my opinion. That was not Canon Films in the 80s. And then, of course, I have Death Wish 3, which this is the Scorpion release. I do want to get the Kino release because the Kino release actually has new extra features. This one just has the commentary with Paul Talbot and then an interview with the Giggler. The Kino release has like an alternate ending, which I didn't even know there was an alternate ending, but it's got different stuff on there. So I'll grab that probably sometime soon here. And then we have the 88 Films release of Murphy's Law, because this actually had more extra features than the Kino release. So I used to have both of them, but I got rid of that because everything from that Blu-ray is on this Blu-ray and then some. So there you go. But This is definitely my favorite non-Death Wish Charles Bronson movie that he did with Cannon Films. I love Murphy's Law. I always have. And then we have Assassination, which was the last time that him and Jill Ireland worked together. I think she was already sick when she was making this movie because she doesn't really look well in the film, but I guess she just wanted to do it, for Charles or whatever. But unfortunately, it's Kino, but there's no extra features on here. So maybe one day they'll put this one back out with extras. There's not even a commentary with Paul Talbot. I don't know if they didn't ask him or they didn't want to do it or he said no or there was money involved. I don't know. But pretty much all the rest of them have commentaries with Paul Talbot. So there you go. That at least were Kino and some of the other companies. And then I have the Australian Death Wish 4 and 5 Blu-ray to go with the Death Wish 2 and 3 because I got this when I got this. Death Wish 5 had not gotten a Blu-ray in America yet. This was the only release of Death Wish 5 on Blu-ray was this Australian release. Those have since come out here in America, but all the extra features that are on this or on those releases, and there's nothing new. So there you go. Because there is commentaries with Paul Talbot, but that's it. It's just trailers, TV spots, stuff like that. So there you go. But Death Wish, for the longest time, Death Wish 4 was actually my favorite. I put it at number 2. But as I got older, I'm like, fucking Death Wish 3, man. Like, it's awesome. I don't care what anyone says. And then these next two are other ones. I'm surprised they have not gotten a re-release because Olive Films put these out, and Olive Films is not around anymore. So first up we have Messenger of Death, and I think when I got these, they had just gone out of print, so you could still find them decently priced. But Olive Films, that was one thing about them, is their shit would go out of print very quickly. For whatever reason. Why? I don't know. I guess they only had temporary agreements or licenses or what have you. But their stuff would go out of print very quickly. And then there was never any extras on any of their releases either. But I think MGM, Amazon, whoever owns these now. But I'm surprised Kino or somebody hasn't picked these up. Who knows? But I always kind of dug this one. It's more of like a mystery. Charles Bronson plays a reporter, but I thought this one was kind of cool. And then we have Kinjite, Forbidden Subject, which I like this one too. This is a pretty fucked up movie, even for 1989, because it deals with like child prostitution and molestation and like all this like shit that was certainly taboo in 1989. I don't know how this movie got made, but it's pretty scuzzy. I'll say that, but it is a good movie. I haven't seen this in forever, but I think Charles Bronson didn't get to kill the lead villain, so that kind of sucks. But he did. He does shoot a bunch of other people, so I can't complain. But yeah, it deals with some pretty heavy subjects, and like I said, even for '89. I don't know how they were able to get away with that, but they were. And then the last one I have is Donato and Daughter, which was a made-for cable, I think CBS. That's not cable, that's regular television. Made-for-TV movie that did get a release in Germany. And I was very impressed by the quality. It looks really, really good. I cannot complain. But this was when Charles Bronson was on the back end of his career. Like I said, after Jill Ireland died, everybody said he wasn't the same. He took a break for a couple years, and then when he came back, of course, Cannon Films was no more. The business had changed. The market was different. Charles Bronson was looked at as kind of like the old guy's action star, like when I was like, this movie came out when I was a kid. He was looked at as like, my grandfather's action star, which again, funnily enough, my grandfather actually was a big Charles Bronson fan, and that's kind of why I got into Charles Bronson. So there you go. My grandfather, the first time I saw Death Wish 3, my grandfather had it on a VHS recorded off a TV. I wish I had that, but I didn't get that, when they passed away. Again, the market had changed, the business has changed. He was in his 70s at that point, but he was still, he made movies up until a couple years before he died, before his health got really bad. So kudos to him. But this one, I thought it was cool again. Yeah, it's made for television, but it's not a bad film. And like I said, it is in full screen because that's how it was supposed to be. But it says standard definition, but they cleaned it up. It looks really, really good. I don't know what the status of this is, if it's still in print or not. But I was very happy to get it. Now that picture is from Murphy's Law, so there's that. But like the other, that did very well actually when it came out, and then he did the Family of Cops trilogy, which those actually did very well too, which is why they made 3 of them. But those were the last movies that he did. I have those on DVD. I would love if those came out on Blu-ray, but we'll see. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and get into the rest of the shelf, at least, hopefully, the rest of the shelf. Oh, God, I need new knees. It's not going to happen. But I need new knees. And again, don't be looking at my ass, okay? We'll do these 2, and then we'll just keep it going. How about that? Oh, God, no! I think it's okay. It happens to all of us. Alright, so, yeah, let's do this. Alright, so first up, we have The Search for One-Eyed Jimmy. I know most of you have probably never heard of this movie, but look at that cast. Very, very, very funny story about this. This is an older Kino release because it doesn't have the black label, which I love that they did the black label and they all match. But there's a very funny story about this film. So the first time I saw this movie, someone at Blockbuster put this in the kids section. It is not a kids movie by any stretch of the imagination. The first joke of the movie is Joe Bottalucco talking about how he brought this girl over for dinner and he cooked her dinner and they watched a porn film, and then his grandfather came in and his grandfather fucked his girlfriend. Like, that's how the movie starts. So there you go. And the entire running gag about why Jimmy has one eye is because he was getting a blowjob and he got shot in the eye by gangbangers shooting each other. And One-Eyed Jimmy is played by Sam Rockwell. But amazing cast. Again, you got Michael Bottalucco. Joe is Michael's brother, my bad, who was on The Sopranos. And they look, they are definitely brothers because they look exactly alike. So, my bad. But that's Michael Bottalucco, who was also, I think he was on NYPD Blue for a little bit. But he was in The Professional. He was Natalie Portman's dad. Steve Buscemi, Nick Totoro, John Totoro, they're both in it. Their cousins in it. Adia, who was on The Sopranos as well. Jennifer Beals, Samuel L. Jackson. So many great actors in it. But this is a pretty fun, quirky comedy from the 90s. If you can track this one down, because I think this is out of print, go for it. But yeah, for whatever reason, it was in the kids section at Blockbuster. And we used to go to Blockbuster when I would hang out with my grandparents. My uncle would take us, and I remember he was just getting mad because me and my brother didn't know what we wanted to rent. Like, we were like, I don't know, like, what do you want to watch? And he's like, well, let's get this. This sounds like a kid's movie. The Search for One-Eyed Jimmy. Yeah, well, it's not a kid's movie. So, best Blockbuster story ever. Prove me wrong. So, there you go. Next up, Blue Streak, definitely my favorite solo Martin Lawrence film. I've loved it ever since it first came out. I saw it when it first came on. Actually, when it first came out on VHS, I'm pretty sure I first saw it then. But always my favorite. I would love if this got an upgraded Blu-ray, because I think there is, yeah, there's some features on here, but it's all from when the movie came out. And it did very well. This was a big hit when it came out. I would love to get an upgraded special edition, but it is Sony, so there you go. But love Blue Streak. I know I tell this story all the time, but when he dresses up as the pizza guy, there was a guy that I went to high school with. His dad went to high school with Martin Lawrence, and he said he would do that all the time. He would just do the pizza gimmick and everything. And he brought his dad's yearbook in one year, and yes, it was Martin Lawrence. Like, I was like, holy shit, man, that's awesome. Got some John Candy here. I got more John Candy movies. They're just elsewhere. But first up, maybe Kino will do this next. I'm surprised they haven't done this movie yet, but The Great Outdoors, which I absolutely love. I try to watch this one at least every summer, because it's just one of those summer movies you got to watch. But yeah, I'm surprised that Kino Lorber has not picked this one up yet. Maybe they are working on that. I don't know. But I would love if this got some features, because this has nothing on it. So there you go. And then we have Uncle Buck. Now, Kino did do this, but I think there's a commentary with random people that I don't care about. It's nobody involved with the movie. But I think that's it. It doesn't have the deleted scene that's here on YouTube that somebody found because they worked on the movie and they had a work print VHS that had one extra scene in it. There's no interviews with the cast members, like Amy Madigan. I know she was just in Weapons or whatever. I don't fucking care about Weapons. The only weapons I care about are the ones that are in this house. So there's that. But Uncle Buck definitely deserved more. So I love the movie. Do I need it in 4K? No. So I'll stick with the old Blu-ray for now. It looks fine to me. But it's just a shame that, they made such a big deal that they got the license to do that movie, and then they didn't really do anything with it. Like I said, there's a commentary with, they call them film historians or whatever now, and it's people that I don't care about. So there you go. If it was Howard Berger or somebody, then yeah, because Howard Berger actually knows what the hell he's talking about. So there you go. And I love his commentary tracks. Next up we have Clue, which Shout Factory did do a special edition of this. I do want to get that because that has a commentary with the director and extra features. This doesn't have any extra features except you can pick the ending of the movie that you want to watch. But we all know that the third ending is the best ending, where you find out that Michael McKean was an undercover agent. Spoiler alert for a movie that came out 40 years ago. And when me and my brother went to go see this earlier this year in the theater, that was the ending they used because it was in the theater for 3 days and each day had a different ending. But the day that we went, which was the third day, had that ending, which is the ending that I prefer. But absolutely love this movie. Honestly, I'm surprised they haven't tried to remake this, but that would suck, of course. But amazing cast in there: Tim Curry, Michael McKean, Christopher Lloyd. Sadly, those three are still alive, and then Leslie Ann Warren. Everybody else in this movie is dead, and Lee Ving and Colleen Camp. Okay, not everybody, sorry, but love Clue. And then we have the Back to the Future trilogy, which I will be getting rid of these soon because they just did a 40th anniversary. And it's like every 5 years they re-release it. It's got new extra features. So there you go. But this is the 30th anniversary. This is a pretty nice steelbook, though. But absolutely love the Back to the Future movies. Always had, of course, as a kid, they were always constantly on TV. So, they were always readily available. Although I do remember renting them from the video store a couple times as well. I'll never forget. My brother rented Back to the Future 2. And then we went to our grandparents because they got a brand new couch. So we were sitting on this couch watching the movie. I don't know how the fuck I remember all this shit. I remember one time as a kid, renting the trilogy for the weekend, and I made like a little sign. I put the sign on the door, like this weekend only, the Back to the Future. Like, good God, again, I don't know how I remember all this shit, but I do. And then we have the 35th anniversary. Nice little digipack here, digibook. I know it's Photoshop or whatever, but I do like that artwork. I do think that is pretty cool. But yeah, it's like every 5 years they re-release the set, and then it's got new extra features. So the 40th anniversary just came out, and that has new extra features as well, which is great. But you know what would be really great? If you guys released all the Eric Stoltz footage that's available, because people would love to see that. So there you go. Maybe they'll do that for the 50th anniversary. I don't know, but yeah, I definitely want to grab that set. You know, maybe after Christmas or something, when they're just, because they're gonna. That's what I love. Everybody freaks out about Black Friday, but from Black Friday to Martin Luther King Day, they're running sales non-stop. So, you'll get what you're looking for. It's not that big of a deal, but definitely want to upgrade at some point soon here, get that set. And then next up we have Thief, which is my favorite Michael Mann movie. I don't remember who it was, but one of the live streams, we were talking about Michael Mann films, and I mentioned that Thief was my favorite, and I forget who it was again, but they said, like, they were so happy that I chose that movie. But I have the Arrow release and the Criterion release, because again, there is different extra features. So there you go. So I think the Arrow release came out first. Actually, no. Criterion put it out first. So there you go. I absolutely love this. And this was a blind buy. I think I bought the Arrow release because they were running a sale, and it was like $5 or something. So I'm like, I've heard about this movie. I like Michael Mann. I love James Caan. What could go wrong? And it's a great film. But there's different. I want to say the commentaries. No, the commentaries are the same, but they both have different extras on it. So there you go. And I think the Arrow release has more. So there you have it. Love Thief. I gotta watch it. I haven't watched it in quite a while. So there you go. And then we have Heat. This is the Director's Definitive Edition. I know Michael Mann went in and tweaked some things. I don't know why, because Heat was fine the way it was. But yeah, he tweaked a bunch of stuff for, I think a couple of scenes were changed. And then it's got a bunch of extra features on here, which is cool. But I don't give a shit. I know they're trying to do a sequel, and then a book came out that was a sequel. I don't fucking care. Heat was a perfect movie all by itself. Heat does not need a sequel. Just leave it alone. Not every fucking movie needs a sequel. And there you go. And then we have Collateral with this awful Photoshop artwork. They should have just kept the poster, but absolutely love Collateral. Ever since I first saw it when it came out on cable, when it came out on HBO, because I was like, Tom Cruise, because the trailer, I think Tom Cruise being quote unquote the bad guy wasn't really a surprise, because in the trailers that's all they showed was Tom Cruise shooting people and wanting to kill Jamie Foxx. So, but I love the way this movie looks, the way it's shot with like digital cameras. I thought that was really cool. But classic. And then we have the Kevin Smith collection. Except Clerks 2, I do have Clerks 2 over yonder, because I actually have not watched that on Blu-ray yet. I do have it on Blu-ray, but it's in the haven't watched it yet section of the library over here. But this is when Kevin Smith was actually worth a shit, unlike now, because he became the guy that he would always make fun of, and he's crying about fucking movie trailers, and he made two He-Man cartoons despite not knowing anything about He-Man, and he lost his goddamn mind. But this is actually when he was cool. So there you go. So we have Clerks, which I'm surprised, again, that they have not done, because clearly this is older, because it's 15th anniversary. I'm surprised that they have not done a Criterion or somebody, Arrow, well, it's Disney, so there you go. But I'm surprised nobody's picked this up. But I love Clerks. And then we have Mallrats, because for whatever reason Arrow could not get certain extra features from Universal, which I find very odd. But we have the old Universal Blu-ray, and then I just got this on DVD again. It's over in the I haven't watched it yet pile, because neither this Blu-ray or the Arrow Blu-ray have the video commentary track that was on the DVD. I fucked up. I had the DVD and then I got rid of it. But then I found it again really cheap, so it's not that big of a deal. But I was like, fuck! Because I forgot that the DVD has the video commentary, and then the Blu-rays, for whatever reason, did not have the video commentary track. But it's weird, because Dogma, the Umbrella version of Dogma, has the video commentary for that. So why did Umbrella do it for their release, and they're a specialty label as well, but they couldn't do it for Mallrats? I don't know why, but anyway, yeah, this is the older Blu-ray, which has both cuts of the movie, and then I'll tell you which extra features are not on there. And then we have the Arrow release, which I think I bought this day one. I think I got this at Entertainment in Colorado when I was still in the Army, because I just couldn't believe that Arrow was going to put out Mallrats, so I got it day one. So, okay, let's see here. So the Arrow release has a bunch of new extras. I think it has a new commentary. No, again, it has the commentary, but it doesn't have the video portion, which again does not make any fucking sense. So there you go. Which is one of my favorite commentary tracks, because in the commentary, Ben Affleck is telling a story, and Kevin Smith cuts him off, and then Ben Affleck gets mad at him, and he's like, "Oh my God, Snoochie Poochies! I'm from Jersey! I got one fucking friend in Jersey!" And it's fucking hilarious. Anyway. So the Arrow release has all new extras, new interviews and stuff. Let me see here. Deleted scenes are on both. Outtakes are on both. Cast interviews from the original film set are on both. Mallrats, the reunion, is only on the Universal release. Okay. The erection of an epic, see what they did there, is on both. No, the reunion is on both. Okay. It's labeled. No. Okay, it's not. All right, my bad. Q&A with Kevin Smith is on both. The music video for Build Me Up Buttercup, directed by Kevin Smith, is on both. Extended version introduction is on both. And the commentary is... So, yeah, And then... Oh, okay, hold on. The reunion feature is not on both. And then the making of that was on... The original when the DVD first came out, because again, Mallrats came out, it didn't make any money, everybody was pissed off because Clerks was a big deal, but it later through video and everything else, people came to appreciate it. And the marketing sucked for Mallrats, because if you look at the trailers and the TV spots, they didn't know how to market the movie, because of course they didn't, just like Fight Club. So there you go. So yeah, the reunion feature is not on the Arrow release, and then the introduction to the extended cut is. So yeah, it's just that. I don't know why they couldn't get the clearance to do that. So there you go. But anyway, Mallrats was always, I know that was long-winded, but that's why you got me. Mallrats was always my favorite of the Kevin Smith View Askew Universe movies. And then we have Chasing Amy, which I still have this on DVD because the DVD has different extras from the Blu-ray. This has a new commentary, but it doesn't have the old commentary where they say "fuck DVD," which is funny because that commentary was recorded for the Laserdisc, and Kevin Smith is talking about how Laserdisc is awesome and everything, and then, like I just said, in the commentary he says "fuck DVD," but I don't think they edited it out, but he had to apologize for it. So they added a little bit on the DVD where he says sorry, but it's just funny. But anyway, I don't know why, but this was the one I saw last. I don't know if it's because of the lesbian thing. I don't know. I don't have a problem with lesbians. I don't. I don't care. I suck pussy too. Get over it. You're not special. Anyway, then we have Dogma, which I do want to get the Umbrella release, which I know they're quote unquote not allowed to sell it in America, which isn't true, because you can still get it elsewhere. But I still have the DVD, which you will see later, because once again, they did not put the video commentary on the Blu-ray. The Umbrella release that's coming out will have it, but this Blu-ray did not have it. And I got this at Entertainment in Colorado for like $20. This was expensive come on, focus. This was expensive for a while. This went out of print, and people lost their fucking minds. And it was going for crazy. This was going for like hundreds of dollars, like $200 for a sealed copy for a while. But that's all changed. But I got mine. I found it for like $20. I said, fuck yeah, because I love Dogma. But yeah, that went out of print. And then when all the Weinstein shit happened, because that was the one movie that he was holding out on. And then he ended up selling the rights because he had to pay for lawyers and everything. So that's why Kevin Smith was able to get it back. But again, that was I think the one movie he was holding out on. So there you go. And then we have Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, which I absolutely love this movie. Now, this has the commentary track, but that's the only feature from the DVD that they put on here. So I still have it on DVD as well. Maybe that'll be the next one that Kevin Smith will get the rights to, or able to do a better Blu-ray. So there you go. So I find it very funny that Kevin Smith is the DVD guy, the Blu-ray guy, the physical media guy, but I have to keep DVDs and Blu-rays because not all the features made it to each release. Now, I'm sure a lot of that doesn't have to do with him. You know, that's beyond his pay grade, so to speak. But, hey, man, if you're so passionate about DVD and Blu-ray and such, why don't you kind of get in the muck of things and work with these people to do it? I know he did it for Clerks and some of these other movies, the Arrow release of Mallrats, but why not Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back? Alright, so now we are going to get into, I think I have these in the proper order. Yeah. We got some Mark Dacascos. Love Mark Dacascos. He was always one of and these are just the Blu-rays. I have a bunch of his stuff on DVD and such. But Mark Dacascos was always one of my favorite action stars as a kid. And I love him. I really do. I met him. Super, super nice guy. It was like a dream come true that I finally got a chance to meet him. I think he got screwed over because his agent sucked back in the day. He did have a bad agent. And, he's too Asian. He's not Asian enough, which, if you look at him, clearly he's Asian. But I think he's carved a little bit of a niche for himself. He was in John Wick 3, which was awesome. That was the best part of the movie as far as I'm concerned. But he's had a pretty good run. He's had a pretty good career, but I do think he should have been on that level of Jeff Speakman and Van Damme and Seagal and stuff like that, because he had the ability, he had the talent, he had the charisma, and he had the martial arts. So there you go. But first up, Double Dragon. I don't care what anyone says. I like this movie. Sue me. But this is the MVD release when they were actually pushing these movies out like crazy. Really good addition because Mark Dacascos is on the extra features. He does get interviewed. Scott Wolf gets interviewed. Michael Davis, who would later do Shoot 'Em Up, which we talked about in a previous part, he wrote this movie, so he gets interviewed. There's a separate interview with the producer Don Murphy, because he ended up doing a bunch of these type of movies and stuff, which is, I think he may have even produced Shoot 'Em Up, if I'm not mistaken. It's got stuff back in the day. It's got behind the scenes footage. It's got the first episode of the cartoon, which I think MVD put out on DVD, and then another company ended up putting it out on Blu-ray, so I picked it up on Blu-ray. So there's that, and then we have I hate that they use this artwork, but Drive, one of my all-time favorite martial arts movies. This was a movie that, when I first got a computer, when I first got on the internet, this was one of the movies that everybody was talking about in the early 2000s, and I remember catching it on HBO, and I've loved it ever since. So there you go. And this is the director's cut. I just got a bootleg VHS of the director's cut because the version that came out here was edited and everything, but and I think that version is on here as like a bonus feature. But I don't like that version. Yeah, it is here on as a bonus. I don't like that version, even though oddly enough that was the first version that I saw, because that was the only version you could get here in America. So there you go. But again, one of my all-time favorite martial arts action movies. So there you go. I know '88 did a 4K, and I think there's one new extra feature. Maybe down the road I'll pick that one up, but I'm happy with that. But speaking of that, the shitty thing is all the extra features on there are from the Hong Kong Legends DVD because they put it out. It didn't have the Hong Kong Legends name to it, but it was the same company. Which those extra features are great, don't get me wrong, but I think that the movie deserves more because so much time has passed and it's become this cult classic and everything that I think that there's more to say about it, at least in my opinion. And then we had Boogie Boy, because again, MVD was putting out Mark's movies. I think they put out Sabotage, which was okay, so I do kind of want to get that, because Mark Dacascos is interviewed, and I think also that was one of the last interviews Tony Todd did before he died, because he's on the extras there too, so I do want to get that for that reason as well. This is okay. I don't really remember that much about it. It does kind of get into some weird territories, like about being gay and stuff for some reason. I don't know why. But there's a little bit of action in here, but Mark Dacascos does get interviewed, which is cool. So we'll see. And then we'll wrap up, well, we'll not wrap up this part, but we'll wrap up this pile. We have Street Fighter 2, the animated movie, which may be my favorite anime, to be honest. But when I was a kid, I didn't know that this was the video game Street Fighter. I thought it was a sequel to the Van Damme movie. They just did it as animated, because that's what little Fob thought. So there you go. But I love this. This has I think it has all the different versions. Yeah, it's got all the different versions in here and extra features and stuff. But I absolutely love this movie. I have it on Laserdisc. I have it on VHS. So there you go. Then we have Mortal Kombat, which I heard a rumor. A little birdie told me that Arrow will be doing this movie very soon. I don't know. I guess they were working on extras or whatever, which is why it didn't come out this year, which would have been ideal because 30 years. But I heard a rumor from a good, close, personal, well-placed friend source of mine that Arrow will be announcing this movie for, I think, early 2026. So there you go. And I'm sure they're going to do a bang-up job. But love Mortal Kombat. In my opinion, still the greatest video game movie ever. Prove me wrong. And then I do have Mortal Kombat Legends, Scorpion's Revenge. I want to say... No, I think I bought this. Yeah, I think I bought this. My bad. But this one was sent to me, which I like this. I thought this was cool. And then we have Battle of the Realms. This was sent to me. I can't remember who sent it to me, but someone sent this to me. My bad. This was alright. I know they did two more. I think they did a Johnny Cage one, and then they did one, I think it's called like Snowblind or something about Sub-Zero, but I didn't watch either of those. But the first one I thought was pretty good. Battle of the Realms was okay. But yeah, that was sent to me. Again, I can't remember who sent that to me. I'm sorry. And then we have The Incredibles, which I love. Love The Incredibles. And then I think this was a Target exclusive because it has an art book with it or something. Yeah, it's got an art book with it. My bad. But this is the Walmart exclusive, or not Walmart, Target exclusive of Incredibles 2, which is okay. I don't think it's as good as the first, It is a good sequel, but it did have some, a little bit of stupid woke shit, because there was a line at the end like, oh, the only rich people are white men. I'm like, shut the fuck up, Disney. Nobody gives a fuck what you think. Anyway. Oh, God, sorry. Fucking knees. So we should get this row knocked out, and then we'll save this for the next part. If I could just stop talking so much. But you guys like that apparently, so I'll keep doing it. Yeah, I'll wrap this up with this because it will be at about an hour, and then we'll start on the rest in the next segment. So first up, The Girl Next Door. I did not realize that this movie was a huge flop when it came out. I think it was because of the marketing. But I really like this film. I did review it on the channel before the channel got shut down. But I've always really enjoyed this film. I think it's a pretty good coming-of-age comedy. See what I did there? Next up, we have SWAT and Basic double feature. I have SWAT elsewhere, I think, on Blu-ray, if I'm not mistaken. But this was Mill Creek, so this one doesn't have any of the extra features. But for the longest time, this was the only way to get Basic on Blu-ray. There is a German release that came out. I do want to get that. But yeah, I think I have the other, because Sony put this out. I think I have that of SWAT elsewhere. But I do want to get... But I like both of these movies. But they don't have any of the extra features. I think even the Sony Blu-ray of SWAT doesn't have all the extra features from the DVD, which once more, for the umpteenth time, the same fucking studio releases the shit, they own the shit, and they can't put the features on there. It pisses me off. I know it pisses all of you off too. Because it doesn't make any fucking sense. Especially, it's not like they licensed it to another company. Sony put it out. You own the movie. Why are you that fucking lazy and stupid to not do that? You dumb fucks. Anyway. So there's that. But SWAT, actually, when I went through, before you go in the military, you have to go through what's called MEPS, which is Military Entrance Processing Station, if I remember correctly. And SWAT was the movie that they had in the. You go in this room and you're sitting there like in the old movies when you watch it, and they're all standing around in their underwear. That's exactly what it was. I'm in a room with only my underwear on, and there's 100 other dudes in this room, and that's when they go through your medical history, and you got to do the duck walk and everything. And SWAT was the movie that they had on in there, so there you go. But I liked the movie before, but there you go. I like Basic as well, which was the last good John McTiernan film. And then we have Cheech and Chong, Up in Smoke. I have Still Smoking. I think next movie, I have those only on DVD, but they're on. I think they're on Blu-ray now. I just don't have them. But at the time, Up in Smoke was the only one that was on Blu-ray. And there is extra features on here. There's extra features that they did, like stuff from back in the day, and then for this release. So there you go. Then we got The Many Saints of Newark, the Sopranos prequel movie, which was okay. I saw this in the theater. The timeline, like, I don't understand how they fucked the timeline up, because it's supposed to take place in the 60s, but Tony Soprano is older than he should have been, and again, I don't know how they fucked that up, but they did. And then we're going to wrap this part up with the Star Trek movies, the ones I actually like, because I don't like... So, the Nemesis was fucking terrible, and that was a flop when it came out, so there you go. The Jar Jar Abrams movies, when I first saw the first one and Into the Darkness of My Asshole, I liked them. I actually saw Into the Darkness of My Asshole in the theater, and the movie broke. Like, it stopped playing, and someone had to go tell the projectionist or whatever, like, you need to restart the movie, because even in 2013 it was still a digital file. So there you go. Because that's all it is now. It's all digital. You guys know this. Anyway, I liked those when I first saw them, and then I watched them more and more and more, and then I realized that this is not fucking Star Trek. Like, this sucks, and I didn't even bother watching Beyond, because number one, I heard it wasn't good, and number two, I gave up, because, like I said, the more that I watched those movies, the more that I realized, like, this is not fucking Star Trek. This is not how it's supposed to be. So there you go. But these are the ones I like, and I know they did. Well, I'll just get into this. So first up, the motion picture, which I have always really liked this. I know a lot of people don't because it's slow, but it's pure science fiction. And I know they did that box set of just this one that has all the different cuts. I do want to get that, but it's so expensive. It's like I saw it at a FYE, and it was like $120. And I'm like, I like the movie, but not that much to spend $120 to get one movie. You know what I mean? If it had all of them, okay, then yeah, I would do that. But, you know, these are the older Blu-rays. But I still like this one because this only has the theatrical cut. Yeah, which I do like, but the director's cut was better, you know, at least in my book. And then we have the Wrath of Khan director's cut, which this one they reissued because they fucked it up. So that's why it has a yellow barcode, but this has both versions and a bunch of extra features. So, oh, and also I have the first movie and Undiscovered Country on DVD because, again, that Blu-ray is the theatrical cut. The DVD was the director's cut. Same with the sixth one, but they did it again, a box set, like it was 4K and Blu-ray. They have all the extra versions and stuff. So I put that on my Christmas list. Maybe Santa Claus will bring it to me. We'll see. But there you go. Because they did that. So 2 got both versions. I don't know why 1 and 6 couldn't get both versions. Then we have The Search for Spock, which, again, I quite like. I know the whole Star Trek thing. The odd ones suck and the even ones are good. I disagree because I like the first one. I like The Search for Spock. Then we have The Voyage Home, which is my favorite of the original crew films. Always was. Then we have The Final Frontier, which I do like. I know William Shatner wanted to do a director's cut, and apparently the executives at Paramount laughed in his face when he said that. But I don't think it's terrible. It's certainly not the worst Star Trek movie. I know that much. But I mean, is it perfect? No. Is it a good little movie? Yes. And then we have The Undiscovered Country, which is a classic. Which if I had to rank them, Voyage Home would be number 1. Undiscovered Country might be number 2, maybe. And then I'd probably put Wrath of Khan, Search for Spock, the first one, and then The Final Frontier. So there you go. And then I have 3 of the 4 Next Generation movies. So we have Generations, which I never liked the way that Captain Kirk got killed. Even as a kid, when I first started getting into Star Trek, which as a kid, like every kid, I like Star Wars more. As an adult, I like Star Trek more. So there's that. Get over it. But even as a child, when I was just getting into Star Trek and I didn't really know, I'm like, why? Like, I knew who William Shatner was, because T.J. Hooker. And Loaded Weapon 1. So there you go. But I'm like, why did they kill him off that? Like, I always thought that the way they killed him was stupid. And even in the work print, I have the work print. The work print, how they killed him in that version was dumb too, because they reshot the ending and it's still dumb. I don't know why they killed him off in such a stupid way. It never made any sense to me. And then we have First Contact, which was the best of the Next Generation movies. I wish all the Star Trek movies were like this, but First Contact is where it's at. And then we have Insurrection, which is okay. I was never the biggest on this one, but I mean, it's got a good cast in here. F. Murray Abraham played the bad guy. Can you really go wrong? No. Anthony Zerbe is in it, who I love. The very lovely Donna Murphy, when she was still hot. So there you go. And I find it weird that this one's PG, and First Contact is PG-13, and Generations is PG-13. But oh well. But yeah, First Contact I love. That was certainly the best of the Next Generation movies. Generations and Insurrection are okay. Nemesis is fucking terrible. I saw Nemesis once. I rented it from the video store. And it was many, many years after it came out. I actually rented it on VHS just for fun. I was like, this movie sucks. This isn't fucking Star Trek. So there you go. But anyway, that is part 3. So I got through the top. So in part 4, we'll knock out the road that you see there. And then hopefully get into some of this stuff here. So I don't mean to take 2 parts per shelf, but you know, you guys like to hear the stories and everything, so that's why I do this. So by the time that I get done all this, it'll be 87 parts. So I hope that you guys are ready. So there we go. Because this is only part 3, but we'll keep hanging on, as they say. Anyway, we'll see you guys on part 4 later.